Let's go to Brandon Judd, the National Border Patrol Council president. Brandon, we're learning as well that obviously the New York mayor isn't happy with this, but if you think he's upset, you should hear from the D.C. mayor, Muriel Bowser, who's dealt now with 175 buses from the border that have come their way to D.C. She wanted federal help. And so far, I believe she was even seeking it through the Pentagon. That is not forthcoming. But to your point, both these mayors and these cities and these other locales where these migrants are coming they're dealing with what Governor Abbott and folks like you have been dealing with on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely. And what really frustrates us is when they talk about wanting the National Guard there in Washington, D.C., why isn't she talking about stopping this problem right there at the border? If we would control this issue right at the border, they wouldn't have to deal with it. But because the open border advocates don't want her to talk about that, she's only going to talk about her city. And that is extremely frustrating. When you look at just 2 days ago, we had a 3-year-old drowned in the Rio Grande River. We had a 2-month-old that had to be pulled out and saved, and we don't even know that 2-month-old is now going to live. This is an issue, and if she truly cared about life, she would be talking about solving the problem at the border so that she doesn't have to deal with it in her city, but she won't discuss that issue.
So where do these people go, Brandon? I mean, when they get off those buses, who's keeping track of them? Anyone?
No, nobody is. I mean, when we released them, you just heard from that official from New York City saying that they had somebody that they had to take to the hospital. Well, that's not on Governor Abbott. These people were released from federal custody. The moment they're released from federal custody, they're free to go anywhere that they want inside the United States. And that's one of the scary parts of this illegal immigration crisis. When you have people cross the border illegally and then they're released into the United States to go anywhere that they want, that is a reward for violating our laws, and that's what's drawing so many people. That is the magnet that is drawing so many people to cross our borders illegally, and it's what's enriching the cartels. The cartels use this magnet to advertise their services around the world. This is an issue that can be solved. It can be solved tomorrow. We just don't have the support of the White House to do it.
All right, so someone must give them a piece of paper or something about a court date. That's how it was traditionally handled at the border. I assume the same procedure is in place where it's up to the migrant to show up for that court date. It's a little different, but the same procedure, I assume, in Washington, D.C., and New York City, and these other places. How does that go, and how many show up for that?
It is the exact same procedure. It's called a notice to appear. This is what we give these individuals. Now, it's a series of court dates. It's not just one single court date. It's a series. They first have to show up to Citizens and Immigration Service, and when they show up there, that's when they become eligible for work permits, and then they get all of the benefits that any United States citizen could have, all the social benefits that exist here.
And they can't be deported, right?
It's when it comes to
Brandon, they can't be deported at that state. Through all these various processes, they can't be kicked out, right?
Not until their final court appearance. And that final court appearance, that's when they have to prove that they have a legitimate reason to be here in the United States. That's when the vast majority disappear. They never show up to that final court appearance. And if they do show up to that final court appearance and they're ordered, they're normally released for about 30 days to get all of their affairs in order, and that's when they disappear. So the vast majority of these people will never leave this country. They'll be ordered deported in absentia, or they'll be ordered deported in person, but then they're released and then they disappear. This is a huge problem, and it's a problem that is easily solved. We just don't have the political will to do it.
So even in sanctuary cities like Washington, D.C., especially New York, where they're providing them with all sorts of things to help them in this process, there's no guarantee that either sanctuary city is following this process or following up on them through multiple appearances in court.
No, the sanctuary cities absolutely are not following up on them. It's very difficult for even non-sanctuary cities to follow up on these individuals, because if you look at what President Biden has ordered ICE.
Do they look the other way, Brandon, when they don't show up, or do they just say no big deal, they didn't show up, and they know they're out, right?
Yeah, the sanctuary cities, they completely look the other way. A warrant of arrest will be issued for these individuals if they're ordered deported in absentia. The problem is the Biden administration doesn't let ICE go after these warrants. They don't let them serve these warrants, and so these people know that they're free. Again, that's one of the other magnets that draws so many people to cross our borders, because they know that this administration is not going to hold them accountable even when they don't show up to their court appearances.
Wild. I always learn a lot talking to you, Brandon, but sometimes it's disturbing what I learn. Brandon Judd, thank you very, very much.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.